right, China Mac, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, man? Ken Capone.
That's what it is.
We in
man.
this bitch.
Yeah, glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
For sure, man. You got a lot going on, man. You got Mac Eats.
Yeah.
You know, you got a new show going. You got your YouTube channel cracking.
Mac Talk. Can't forget about the Mac Talk. You know what I mean?
How'd you come up with the Mac Eats?
I just like food, man. I like food. I like to eat. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. I don't even know how I remember. I don't even remember how I started doing it, man. I just was like, you know what? I came out, what happened was I was on parole and then I went back on a violation. So when I came back on a violation, I was like, you know, when I was in jail when I was in jail for the violation, I was watching stuff like, you know, Explore Channel. And then I was just like, yo, that's a good idea. Maybe when I come home, I'll just go around, try food and stuff for content. So I started it and then it's been moving ever since.
It really started working for you.
As it should, you know what I'm saying? As it should.
Are you only in America doing spots or are you traveling around the globe yet?
I ain't traveled yet, but I'm about to. You know what I mean? I was on parole for a good amount of time. I got off parole not too long ago. But, you know, the coronavirus thing hit. And then, so now I'm about to travel this summer.
What do you think was like the best food that you had?
Haitian food.
Haitian food, okay.
Yeah.
Where at?
In Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah. You ever had Haitian food? Shout out to the Zoes. My bros, they made sure they took care of me, man. Millie's, you heard of Millie's before?
Yeah, the rapper.
Yeah,
right?
you heard of Millie's?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Millie's, you know, he grew up around a lot of Haitians because they got a big Haitian community out there in Cambridge. So he brought me out there and that was my first time eating Haitian food and it was fire. Like I didn't know what to expect with Haitian food because I heard a lot of different stuff and you know what I'm saying? Like they were saying that they eat mud pies and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But when I actually went and ate the food was fire. Like it was fire. Like it was much better than what I would have thought.
Wow, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. What are your favorite places like in LA and New York?
To eat?
Yeah.
In LA? I like I mean, tacos, you know what I'm saying? Because tacos are better here than New York. And then what else is good out here? I got good Chinese food, like real Chinese food. And then New York, I like Jamaican food in New York. I like Spanish food in New York, like Puerto Rican food, Dominican food, shit like that.
Get someone to start a taco stand in New York that could work?
They got taco stands in New York.
But you said they're not as good.
Yeah, but it's just different. I don't know what's the difference, but yeah, they got mad taco stands out in New York.
All right, well, I figured we would kind of get to know you better for the people in my channel that might not be familiar with you.
Right.
So if you could tell them a little bit about you, you know, where'd you grow up and what was it like for you growing up?
I grew up in New York City, born in Brooklyn, raised in Manhattan, Queens. I basically grew up all over New York City. I'm a New York City kid, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, some people like to claim one borough. I claim the whole city because I lived in every borough in the city except for Staten Island. And you know, my childhood was like I grew up in a gang environment, you know what I mean? Cause my father and them, they was in the gang. My uncles, all of them was in the gang. They was in the triad and shit, a Chinese gang. And then I seen that coming up. And then like, you know, when I was like 8 years old, I went into the system, like group homes and juvie and shit. And then once from 8 years old, I wasn't free. I wasn't out of the system 1 year until like, until like, I don't know, like 30, 32 or some shit like that. So every year I was going back and forth to jail. There wasn't 1 year I wasn't home for more than a year since I was like 8 all the way to 30 something.
Man, what are some things you were getting locked up for?
I was getting locked up for all types of shit, robberies, violations, uh, you know, stuff like that, man. Fighting, stabbing people, shooting people, regular shit.
You said since 8 and you were in a group home, so your family wasn't in your life, or?
I mean, yeah, my mom was in my, nah, not really. They wasn't. They was, my father got locked up when I was 5. I ain't seen him. And my mom, she was like around, but she was just not there type shit. You know what I mean? So yeah.
How do you think that affected you growing up, not having your mom and your dad around?
It fucked me up. You know what I mean? It fucked me up. But then, like I was saying on my channel, Mac Talk, I had an interview the other day, and I was talking about it. Like, a lot of people don't know. Like Chinese people, well, the people like Chinese people growing up, they're mad abusive and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? My mom was super abusive. You know, I mean, but abusive. Like if I misbehave, like she gonna hit me. Like but she ain't really do. Like she hit me and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I was getting abused and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it made me angry and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like so, once I started like being of an age, I was just acting out, being mad angry, breaking shit all the time, fighting all the time, shit like that. And then once I got in the system, I just kept on going in and out.
Okay, and I believe at one point you joined a gang.
Yeah.
Okay, and what was that like, or what I'm saying, what made you want to get into a gang?
Well, like I said, I was born in a gang situation. So I seen this shit growing up, you know. I was all around it. And then I seen how like people praised my father and shit. So, it was something that was familiar. And then, like I said, I wasn't really like, I didn't really have a family structure, you know what I'm saying? So, I always felt like I wasn't enough, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause my mom, it was either I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't this enough, I wasn't fast enough, I wasn't whatever enough all the time, you know what I'm saying? So, the only time I realized I felt like I was enough was when I joined the gang and, I started fucking shooting at people, stabbing people like young. I was like, when I joined my first gang, I was like 11 when I joined the gang. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I felt. That's how I started like feeling like I belong somewhere when I stab a motherfucker. And then like everybody's like, oh shit, yo, good shit, boom, 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 boom. All the gang is like, and then I just kept on responding like that. Like I felt like it finally made me feel like I was accepted. So I just kept on wilding. Like the more wild I do, the more fucking praise I would get. So, at young, 11, 12, I'm shooting shit, stabbing shit. Like if the gang wanted something done, I'll raise my hand quick. And then, you know what I'm saying? You know, tear shit up.
How old were you when you like caught your first gang related case, and what was it for?
Gang related case, the first gang related case was when I was, wait, was that gang related? All right, first gang related case was like when I was like 14. You know what I mean? We had a gang fight, and like 3 kids got stabbed up. One kid got stabbed up like 11 times. So I got arrested for that.
How much time did you do?
I was young, so they gave me 18 months.
18 months. That's it. The kid, I take it the kid didn't die.
No, he ain't died. Yeah. But yeah, we was young. They really couldn't give us more than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? 18 months.
How many of you guys got arrested?
It's like 10 of us.
10 of you guys, and you guys all got the same amount of time?
Nah, not everybody got the same amount of time. We was all kids. All of us, some kids was older, so there was like some kids that was 16, 17. You know what I mean? I was young. So, I went to juvie. A lot of those kids, we just like, you know what I mean? Different shit. But I already was in the system. You know what I mean? So I had, I just went through that shit. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's juvenile hall like for you?
Shit was rough.
Okay, so you're in juvenile hall. You're saying it's rough. Are you running into any of your ops or people you don't get along with?
Well, I ain't really had no ops. Like, it was like, I was like the only Asian kid there. You know what I'm saying? So when I was in juvie, like group homes, you know what I'm saying? But then once I got arrested, like real arrested, and they put me into juvie, like, Spofford, like Harlem Valley, like fucking, all them spots, Tryon and shit. I was the only Asian kid there. There wasn't no other Asian ops. They wasn't in there. So I was just like, I was just fighting a bunch of, I used to fight every day. I had black eye for a whole 18 months. I don't think there was a day I ain't have a black eye on that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because, I just fight. I just take off um, like as soon as I felt disrespected, I learned to respond right there. You know what I mean? And that's the only way that I would get respect. Like if somebody says something, I just within seconds I'm punching you in your face. And win, draw or lose, you win, lose or draw, I'm a fight. So I kept on getting black. I was getting fucked up all the time, but I was fighting all the time. So that's how that shit was for me.
You mentioned not seeing any of your ops. Now, does your hood have? Is it only like? Is it one like big Asian community, and it's only the Asian gangs to beef with Asian gangs? You don't beef with. There's no other gangs around for you guys to beef with.
Yeah, we was kind of like secluded, like, you know what I'm saying? We was beefing with the projects, people, you know what I mean? Like when we go to school and shit, the people try to rob it, one of the Asian kids, and we pull up, you know what I'm saying? Anybody from the Lower East Side know, like, kids from Baruch or kids from the projects behind, like, you know what I'm saying? Or when we go to school at Seward, like if one of us got robbed or whatever and they beat somebody up, we would pull up deep as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like they used to have the young kids do all the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you 12, 13, you grab the gun and you shoot. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that 12, 13, we ain't going to get too much time. They going to slap us on the wrist. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like juvenile time type shit. So they used to get all these young kids, go to junior high school, pick all these kids up. And then they had the kids put in the work. But a lot of these kids they was picking up, they was scared. You know what I'm saying? They ain't really want to put in no work. So they picked my ass up and I was like top pick because I ain't give a fuck. And I was just doing whatever, like, cause I wanted the acceptance, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted that. So I was just like, all right, nobody want to do it, I do it, you know what I'm saying? And I just, I was just putting mad work in and shit and fucking, and so whenever a kid get robbed, or I remember one time I went into the project, somebody robbed one of the kids that he went to go try to buy weed and shit. They robbed him, smacked him up with a pistol, whipped him and shit. And then he came running back to the apartment and I was there and, the dialogue, one of the big brothers was like, yo, go back over there. So we went, a couple of us went, passed me the gun and I just started shooting. I just started shooting at the fucking, I didn't even know who I was shooting. I was just shooting. There was people there. There was people standing there drinking 40s and shit. I'm just shooting. Boom, 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 boom. People dropping their 40s, running and shit. You know what I mean? And that's how it was. Like, but it wasn't a lot of beef. I remember like, we had beef with the Italians too. You know what I'm saying? I remember that, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like that because people just really respected the space. You know what I mean? Sometimes it would bleed into each other, but for the majority, people just stayed like, they ain't really fucking around. Like people just stayed on their side type shit.
What's it like getting, put on an Asian gang? What's the initiation like? Is that something you could talk about, or is that like?
I mean, it wasn't really no initiation. It was like, our shit was more like traditional. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't get jumped in and shit. We would have to like, we don't get initiated right away. It was kind of ran it like the mob, like fake a little bit. Not too much, but kind of like the mob. Like, you be a part of it, but you're not really in it. until they accept you to be a part of it. And then it's like a class of you got, like a class, like the class that you come in with, you know, they pick y'all up, and then, you know, we do a ritual, like, you know what I'm saying? We buy something. That means like we pray to the God of the gangsters, and then we, you know, we pray to them, we kneel to them, we fucking, they cut a fucking snake, had a blood, like shit like that, and then we all drink from the cup type shit like that. It was more traditional, like Chinese tradition type shit.
Now, does that come from China? Like originally, like the tradition type of the
Yeah.
initiation thing?
Mm-hmm. It ain't come from New York.
When did, you know, Chinese gangs and Asian gangs like first pop up in New York? Do you know?
I don't even know. I know they was around since the 60s, 70s type shit. You know what I'm saying? The Chinatown in New York is like, Chinatown in New York, before Chinatown, that was, you ever seen the movie Gangs in New York?
It's been a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that movie is about 5 Points. And 5 Points was considered the slums of New York. So all the people coming from, like, all the undesirables that's coming into the city, they would put them in 5 Points. So at a point it was Jewish people, at a point it was all Jewish people, and then it was like it was Irish people, like all the different people that was considered like unwanted at the time. And then the Chinese was the last people to go in there, and we kind of just stayed there. You know what I'm saying? And this is like 1800s type shit.
Okay. I seen somewhere that you had, like, you know, a story that you shared before about, you know, when like when you were really young and like your third day in the gang, like something happened, like some dude got killed in front of you.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. Some so like how the gangs is in New York City is, I mean, they're not even around no more, but it was Ghost Shadow. I was Ghost Shadow Bayard Street, and it was Ghost Shadow Mott Street, and we was beefing with each other right down the block. So when I got there, it was like a couple days in, and we was all like, I was in a restaurant, we was all eating. This was after, like, it was like 7 or 8 o'clock, after like all the businesses was kind of closing, and during the daytime we was watching the street, meaning like every store on the block was getting extorted, and then we would stand on the block and watch the street. All the gang members would come outside and just watch the street, make sure nobody's trying to, you know, take from our stores and shit. So it was like around 7, 8 o'clock when everything was closing and shit. So we all went to the restaurant and we was all eating. And then while we was eating, somebody come running in the restaurant like, oh shit, they coming up the block. So we all ran outside, and then, you know, there was a gang fight. It was like, when I came outside, there was like a bunch of other, the my street Ghost Shadows coming up the block. And I came out the restaurant, I'm green, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, they started rushing us. People was fighting, we was fighting, and then they had, like, back in the days, we had like weapons stashed all over the block. Like, wasn't really a lot of guns. The guns was upstairs, but a lot of people wasn't even using guns at that point. Like, there was guns, but we would use like pipes, like machetes, like shit like that, knives and shit. So we would stash like pipes. Like, you take the pipe and then you cut it in a way where it has like an edge to it. So when you hit somebody with the pipe, you'll gash them, you know what I mean? Shit like that. And then machetes stashed on the block. So everybody was running to the like, on, like, you stash them on the block where like the gates are for the stores and shit. So people was going over there grabbing the pipes. So I had grabbed the pipe, and then, you know, I'm fucking like swinging that shit at somebody, and then I see, you know, another kid like So there was one of the kids, he was like popular too. He was like a popular kid. He was young, but he was like probably 18 years old. You know what I mean? He was super popular and shit. And then I watched them, you know, they stabbed him up right there. You know what I mean? And I watched them drop and, you know, die right there.
Now that was only your third day in the gang. That didn't, at that age, you didn't like rethink like maybe this isn't what I want to do.
That's not the first time I saw somebody die though.
Oh, okay.
I told you my family was like in the gang. I grew up like I seen my first body like mad young, like you know what I mean? Like people were dropping. I remember walking down the street and we stepped over a body, like you know what I'm saying, or like move over. You know what I mean? I seen bodies like, you know what I mean? One of the first bodies I seen was like somebody get pushed off of the fucking building and he dropped right there. And brain was all over the place, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was walking down the street and we walked this way. So it's like, it wasn't nothing like, it wasn't my first time. So I seen it. That was the first time I seen it like happen like right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like where I'm just like seeing the whole shit go down, but it's not the first time I seen a body. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, you know, it was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But it really wasn't too crazy at that point for me.
How old was the kid?
Which one?
The one that died?
18 around?
Oh, he was older. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What was high school like for you?
Unstable. I didn't go to just one high school. I went to like mad different high schools. Like, you know what I mean? I would run away from shit. Like, you know, I was going back into Spofford, you know, going to high school there, then come out, and then I go to this high school, get in trouble. I run away, and then don't go to that school, and let's go over here, go over there. Yeah, I was unstable, super unstable. I didn't even stay in one high school for more than like, I don't know, definitely not more than a year. But I would say, shit, I didn't stay in one high school for more than 6 months, unless it was like in jail.
So you didn't graduate, I take it?
I took my GED in jail.
In jail?
Did I take it in jail? No, I took it outside, but yeah.
Now you're bouncing around, you're going from school to school. I take it you drop out at one point? Or you just quit going?
Yeah, I just didn't go.
And what do you do with yourself when you stop going to school? Do you ever get a regular job?
I did. I had one regular job in my life.
And what was that like for you?
Burger King.
Okay.
I remember I was working at Burger King and shit. I was only probably working there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks or something. I wasn't there long. And I remember they had me in the back flipping burgers. Like they had the fucking, you know, like what's that shit called? You put all the burgers in there, the frozen burgers, and then it just goes in the machine and shit. So I was just doing that, you know what I mean? And I remember there wasn't no cell phones back in the day. We had beepers. So my beeper went off. Shit said 911. So I went, made a phone call, like, what's going on? And they was like, oh, such and such, we had beef with somebody in another gang. And they was at the high school, whatever, we go run down on them or some shit. So I just left. I didn't even finish the job. They came and picked me up. My boy had a fucking Supra back then. He picked me up. I still had my Burger King uniform. You know what I'm saying? I jumped in the car. We went to the high school and we chased them down. We had a fight in front of the school. Machetes. We all had machetes chasing them around in front of school. He ran into the school. You know, that was my first job. That was like the last job. That was the last real job I ever had.
So you didn't even really quit. You just kind of walked out?
I mean, yeah. I never went back after that though, yeah.
Okay, so you're in and out of jail though too a lot, right? So you really can't even really get a stable job because you're, going in and out of jail.
Oh, I'm lying. I had another job. I worked I sold sneakers for a little bit, like at a sneaker spot, because when I came out of Rikers Island, I had to get a job or whatever, so I applied for the sneaker store David Z's in Manhattan. And I ended up losing that job because I got into a fight in there because one of the kids stole my sale. Like, what was that dude name? Fucking, what was that dude name? He had, the Wayne brother, right? It was, which Wayne brother was it? It was the younger one. Damon Wayne? Which one's the younger one?
Marlon.
Marlon Wayne. So, where the store I was working at, it was on Broadway. It was like a nice store. You know what I mean? All the celebrities go there and get this like buy their sneakers and shit. So we make our money off of commission. Now I'm brand new. You know what I mean? Like it was probably like my second week or some shit. So we thirsty, we like because we getting money off of the commission. So when somebody famous comes in, we kind of like, you know, we kind of like whoever's there, get them first, and we kind of like run into it. So Marlon Wayne come in. I was at the door and I got him. Boom. So he like, oh, boom. He orders, like he tells me, oh, let me get 10 pairs of Timberlands or something like that. I was like, oh, cha-ching. I said, that's money right there. So I went downstairs to go get the sneakers. And then when I come back upstairs, there's a kid talking to him. So I pull up on him like, yeah, that's my sale. I got these. He just took it from me. And like, nah, I got him. That's my customer. So I was tight because I'm thirsty for the sale. Like, I'm like, oh. So I was like, oh, you bitch ass motherfucker. So I said, I'm fucking you up, man. I don't give a fuck. So I went downstairs waiting for him to go get the sneakers. You know what I'm saying? And when he came down the stairs, I was waiting for him. And I just grabbed his ass, punched him in the shit. Boom! And he fucking flew into the racks. And all the racks of sneakers, boom, 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 falling. Like, you know what I'm saying? The racks of sneakers falling all over the place. Shit made mad noise. And here I am. I'm punching them. And they fired my ass. Right there, I lost my job.
Oh shit! And Marlon Wayans, did he buy the sneakers?
It was over.
It was over, man. He got out of there. Damn, that's crazy. That's a trip to hear. The Asian gang's not around anymore at all in that area, or what?
No, it's like the mafia. Like the mafia ain't around no more.
Right. A lot of stuff isn't the same.
Right. Yeah, like after Giuliani came in and cleaned house, he cleaned the mafia up, and then the Chinese was right after, cleaned them up. You know, because Little Italy is right here, and right across Canal Street is Chinatown. So they cleaned them up, and then they came right over here and then cleaned Chinatown up, and they, you know, it just little by little, like after the first Rico hit, boom, and then it just wasn't the same after the first one and the second one, then the third one. After like the fourth, fifth Rico hit, everybody just closed up shop.
Damn. Okay. How big was your gang compared to like the other gangs in the area?
We had like maybe like about 100, 200 people, something like that. Just basically everybody had around the same. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Do you remember how like any of the beef started or anything like that, or?
It's always about money. Always about like, you know, a lot of the beef start like money, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause Ghost Shadow there's three factions of Ghost Shadow, so they all started as one, but then like, you know, people take over, like, you know what I mean? Like, when people take over a street, they don't like this one, and then everybody that's under them has beef with the leader that has a whole people. This is like dumb shit. I don't remember what. It was just always about like money and always about like, you know, like that type of shit, you know.
Now, one thing you're kind of known for is your situation with Jin back in the day. Well, you ended up doing some time over this.
Yeah.
How long were you locked up for this?
10 years. I was 10 and a half. I was sentenced to 11. I did 10 and a half, something like that.
And what was it like for you in prison?
it was I mean, it was fucked up, but it wasn't like, you know, by that time I was already seasoned. Like I already knew how to jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember, I was in the system every fucking year. I wasn't free for more than a year since I was 10 years old or something like that. Or 8 years old, whatever the fuck I was. You know what I'm saying? So I was already seasoned. Like, you know, it was like I already like knew I was gonna do all this time. Like I was already in my head that I was eventually gonna go to prison. You know what I mean? Like, so I went in there. It was, you know, it was definitely different. You know what I mean? But it wasn't too crazy. Like, you know, cause when I first got arrested, I got caught in like going on the border of Canada from Washington to Canada, and my case was all over the news. It was on magazines. It was like in the Blender. It was in like fucking the Source or some shit. Like I went on all the magazines, and it was covering my case and shit. So, you know, when I got arrested, cause I already had 2 prior violence, they was saying that they was giving me life. So once I found out I was getting life, like they told me I was getting life, I was just, you know, I didn't give a fuck. So I kept on fighting every day. I was fighting. I was like, you know, I got stabbed, cut. I was stabbing. I was cutting, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And then because I thought that I was gonna get life, so I really didn't care. You know what I'm saying? And I was fighting over the phone. Like people say I can't get on the phone. I make them eat that bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because when I was there, like they changed the phone to like the ones that you can't take off. But at that time, it was like phones that you had the wire that you could just take off. So like I'll be talking on the phone. If somebody come up to me and say, oh, you know, you got to get off the phone, I just pull the wire out and I just put that fucking phone in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? And then phone pieces flying all over the place. You know what I mean? Like I just was fighting all the time. You know what I'm saying? But then once I got my 10 years, you know, I was like, once I got into prison, I was like, all right. At first, when they gave me the 10, I was like, fuck, bro. Like, my life is over. Like, motherfucker gonna be 30 when they come home, like 30 something. Like, damn, bro. Like, I thought it was gonna be over, right? But once I got into prison and shit, and then I started walking around, this person got 20 in, 10 more to go. This person got 13 in, 5 more to go. Like, it was just, and it was, my 10 seemed like small compared to everybody else's shit. So little by little, I was just like, all right, it ain't the end. So I just, you know, was doing my program and just getting, you know what I'm saying? Getting my program in and change, like, you know, just slowly changing my thought pattern and shit. So, cause I ain't want to die in there. You know what I mean? I seen old motherfucker come in 60, 70 years old. You got a brand new number and you know what I'm saying? Like you just did 10 years coming back in and you all old and he's like feeling at home. Like, oh, let me get this or bring me this and bring that. I'm just looking at this guy like, man, that's not going to be me. I'm not dying in here. Fuck that. So yeah, that's basically when I made my choice. Like I gotta change my direction.
You mentioned getting cut and having a lot of fights and kind of going through some drama and everything. What do you think was like the worst time that you got cut when you were in there?
The worst time, I mean, I went gun for gun with somebody. That means like he had a knife, I had a knife. You know what I mean? Well, he had a knife, I had a razor. And, you know, we stood right there. He's trying to stab me, I'm cutting him. He stabs me, I cut him. And we just fucking just stabbing and cutting each other.
Damn, how many times did you get cut or stabbed?
I got stabbed 2 times on my neck and then like once on my chest.
So he was trying to kill you then, going for your neck like
Yeah.
that. And how did it eventually break up?
So what happened was I was in the house, right? And I was on the phone, and this dude was like, you know, he basically was trying to tell me to get off the phone. So I turned around and I'm like, you gotta wait until I get off the phone. So, but I gave him my back and I was just facing this way. So he ain't like that. So he go and get his razor, and then I'm talking on the phone, and he come behind me and cuts me. You know what I'm saying? So when he cuts me, but instead of me going this way, I just move this way with it. So he don't really cut me that much, but you can still see it and shit. So, but then I get off the phone and then I start scrapping with him. Bing, bang, boom, boom, boom. He dropped the motherfucking razor and I'm punching him all in his shit. Bing, bang. He wasn't expecting that. I don't know what the fuck he expected. He thought I was just gonna take that, but so I just started rocking his shit. Boom, 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 boom. He dropped the razor. I go for the razor and shit, but everybody pulling me off and everybody doing that shit. He was cool with the police, the cop, you know what I'm saying? So the cop locks me in the cell. He comes over like, yo, what's up? You got to go to the doctor. You got to go to the infirmary. So I had a little cut on my face, but it wasn't like, but I didn't need stitches. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need nothing. So he just gives me a fucking, just puts some shit on my shit and he moves me next door. He didn't even report the shit. You know what I'm saying? So he just moved me next door. So, I wait for him when we go to law library, since I'm next door, you know what I mean? Like 2 days later, I wait for him to go to law library. When he come out, he got a knife on him, you know what I mean? But his knife wasn't sharp. He had a big ass he pulled out some rusty shit, but it wasn't sharp, you know what I mean? I had a razor. So we just started going, I cut the shit out of him. But he tried to hit me first. I block it. I cut him. Wop. Come here, stupid. Cut his shit. Boom. And then he, instead of like securing his arm, he fucking, I leave his arm. I'm just worried about cutting him and shit. And I'm hitting him with that shit. And then he just stabs me in my neck 2 times. But if the shit was sharp, he would have put the shit through my neck. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. So.
Did you guys ever get caught or anything for that? Did you have to go get stitches or?
Yeah, I mean, I had to get something, but because my shit was all bloody, but Rikers Island is notoriously like, just corrupt, you feel me? So he was cool with the police and shit, so they just was like, no paperwork was done. I wasn't pressing I wasn't saying nothing, so they just pushed me somewhere else. You know what I mean?
What are like some of the worst stories that you've heard like in Rikers Island? Like you said it's known for being corrupt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what are some other things that goes on in there?
Like riots. I seen a bunch of riots. You know what I'm saying? I see police get cut, stabbed, like officers. One time I seen fucking one of the so they got gangs in there, they got Bloods and they got shit. So one of the he was Blood. He went to court, and then the officers jumped one of the other Bloods, and he didn't jump in for his homie. You know what I'm saying? Like the officers jumped him, and he stood there and watched. So when he got back to the house, they was like, all right, you got to put in work or you getting smoked. You know what I'm saying? So they gave him a fucking a razor. It was like, this police officer, go cut him. You know what I mean? By the end of the shift, if he don't get cut, you out of here. You know what I'm saying? So he had somebody else go to the officer and say, oh, so-and-so was in there so-and-so was in there about to kill himself. So the officer goes in there blindly, like, what's going on? And as soon as he walks in the store, the kid just hits him. Whop! Cuts him. And then fucking the officer's like, oh shit. Blood all over his hand, dripping all over his shit. And then fucking he runs into the thing, and then they come in there. they come in there wilding. You know what I'm saying? They beating everybody up, putting people in motherfucking handcuffs, beating them up with the sticks and, you know, shit like that. Yeah, I saw that. That's one of the, it was one, it wasn't the worst thing I saw, but it was definitely something, you know.
Being in jail, there's usually a lot of gangs and, you know what I'm saying, people grouping up with somebody. Were you ever pressured to join a gang or anything like that in there?
Nah, I never joined the gang.
Is there like an Asian part that you hang out with, or like
No.
you just rolled by yourself the whole time?
Yeah. But like, they had gangs in there, but it was not like the culture of gang is not like over here. You know what I'm saying? So they had gangs, but you could also be neutral and you could kind of just fuck with, you know, the right people. You know what I'm saying? Me, I never joined a gang, but people respected my shit because, you know, I wasn't no punk. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I could have joined whatever gang I wanted to when I was in there, but I didn't want to join because I felt like, you know, I didn't feel like that was me. You know what I'm saying? If I joined the blood, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I was already in the game. I was already in the Chinese game. Whether that's still valid or not, I just didn't feel like it was something that, you know, morally I should do. Cause I took an oath. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I took an oath. You feel me? I can't join no other gang. Like, that's it.
Do you still have contact, or do you still hang out with like your old school
No.
dudes? Nothing. No. Have you like completely left that life behind?
I mean, everybody left that life behind. It's like people that nobody is around like doing that anymore. Like everybody grew up, everybody like either dead or grew up and they own businesses and shit. So, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of dead. But I still, even in jail, I just didn't feel like, I felt like that would be some bitch shit to do. Like if I joined another gang, you know what I'm saying? Just solely because I was in jail and it's something that, you know what I mean? Like protection type shit. I ain't feel like I need protection. I ain't want to join a gang for protection. That would be my only reason to join a gang in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't feel like I needed protection. So, like now, if I grew up and it was all bloods when I was coming up and I was blood or crip or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Then, okay, that's what it is. But if I'm in a whole nother gang, a Chinese gang, and growing up, that's what I was. And then I go to jail. And then, you know, if I switch it, I just felt like that wouldn't be, you know, that wouldn't follow it wouldn't be something that I would be proud of, you know.
I hear that. Where did you do your time at? Was it all in Rikers Island, or did
Nah,
they move
Rikers
you
Island is
around?
county.
Okay.
So Rikers Island, I did like a year, maybe a year and a half on Rikers Island. Then I went up to Clinton Correctional Facility. Then I went to Sing Sing. Then I went to Auburn. Then I went to Attica. You know what I mean? All the big dog jails. Like, yeah.
Which one do you think was the worst?
The worst, it was Attica. Yeah, Clinton was bad too. It just depends. Like Attica was bad because of the officers. They was fucking people up in there. You know what I'm saying? It was like walking on eggshells in there. But shit was going off in there. Like, you know, it was dangerous. Like you walk out your cell, you might not come back out your cell. You just don't know. But then Clinton was dangerous. Like all them shits was dangerous, bro. Honestly, like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I seen a motherfucker get their head chopped off in Auburn. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I seen somebody die in Sing Sing. Somebody died in Sing Sing. Somebody got their head chopped off in Auburn. You know what I mean? People escaped in Clinton. You know, all them shits was wild.
Okay. Now you finally get out after doing a little more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And what's it like when you first get out of jail? Was it hard to adjust?
No.
No. Okay. You just went right back to normal life?
No, it wasn't normal because I had to adjust. It wasn't hard to adjust though. Like, I don't know. The way I like I am is I don't hold on to shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't hold on to shit. I don't even remember a lot of shit. Like, you know, that's how I deal with my shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I came out of jail, but it wasn't like I had this like looming like, you know, feeling like, oh my God, like this is so different. I was just, all right, jail's done. It's over now. Now it's over here. Like, what we gonna do? So I'm just, you know, I got right to it. You know what I'm saying? Like within a year, I was viral. You know what I mean? Within a year, I was like on Vlad. I had music videos that was getting millions of views. Like, and you know, I just got right to it.
Some of the latest news in hip hop that was going around, man, is, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, pretty much everyone's been talking about is Young Thug and YSL and Gunna. You know, what'd you think when you heard about what Gunna did? And I don't know if you've seen the video, but if you did, you know, what'd you think about that when you seen it?
What video?
The video where he says that YSL is a gang.
What do you think about it?
I think you're not probably supposed to. You're not supposed to tell the police. You're not supposed to admit any knowledge of a crime.
Right. Being a gang is a crime.
Being in a gang is a crime. Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Well, I don't know about everywhere, but I know in California it is.
What was
Because it's a criminal.
what's the crime?
Well, it's kind of like you know what I'm saying? Like, because you're with a group of people who have decided that they're going to commit crimes, continuously commit crimes.
Right. I don't know if being in a gang is a crime. I don't know. I mean, because if that's the case, then anybody that's claiming a gang can just be arrested, right?
I don't know if it's that easy. You know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't think being in a gang is a crime. However, when you say you're in a gang, when when one person is saying YSL is not a gang, and then the other person is saying it is a gang, and they're trying to make this other person the leader of the gang, and you say it is a gang, then, you know, you basically just, you know, you're not really telling on the person, but you're cooperating with the authorities to be able to use that information to further incriminate, like, you know, whoever they're saying the leader is. So, you know, it is cooperating though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's snitching, but he is cooperating and he is giving the feds something to work with to hang Young Thug. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that, you know, I don't think that's right. You know what I mean? But, you know, I don't think people care anymore. Like, I don't care. I don't think people care. I don't think people care. You know what I'm saying? People don't give a fuck. Like, they don't fuck with, yeah, I don't know, man. This shit is all weird now. Fucking, you know what I mean? I think Young Thug is fucked. Yeah, Young Thug is gonna be fucked. They gonna make a example out of Young Thug. You know what I mean?
With all the evidence and everything against him and everything that he's got going on.
But he was messy as hell though. Like, messy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand people just be doing this street shit and not think that, like, you don't think there's gonna be consequences behind it. Like, you know what I mean? The street shit is kind of crazy because they just allow anybody to pull up on them and do whatever, and you know what I'm saying? And then be surprised when the feds come. Like, how are you surprised? Like, Gunna was on a whole, like, he was on a whole police, what was that show he was on before? He was on
Crime Stoppers.
Crime Stoppers before. So, like, if he could even get on that show and do whatever, you know what I mean? That should be a clear sign of, okay, you know, let's not do anything crime around these people. But people just don't care. They just get lax. I don't know. They don't move smartly. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It comes with it. So, you know, you don't clean your house, you gonna get fucking, you know what I mean? You gonna get some rats and shit in there.
How much time do you think Young Thug will get? You think he'll get like 10, 20?
I don't know. I think they gonna serve him. I think 10 would be a 10 would be like a 10 would be a blessing.
Damn. After he cooperated, everybody kind of who was following him and fucking with him just kind of started unfollowing him on Instagram. Not fucking with him.
Fuck him.
Well, I heard you were in Chinatown when the shooting happened.
Yeah.
Okay, what all happened with like what were you doing? Like you were just, you know, can you kind of take me through it?
Yeah, it was Chinese New Year. I'm not from here. I'm from New York. So I wanted to go and, you know, be a part of the festivities. So, you know, I heard that there was like event going on in Monterey Park. So me and a female friend of mine, we went over there, and we got there like, I don't know, maybe 8 o'clock, walking around, you know, walking around, just checking the festivities. Then we went to go eat. And when we got out the restaurant, it was like 10:15 when we got out the restaurant. And the restaurant was like right across the street from the ballroom place that got shot up. Where we parked our car was in the same parking as the ballroom. So 10:15, we got out the restaurant, walked to the car, and 10:20 was the first shot that happened at the ballroom. Now, when I first heard it, we went to the shots was firing when we got in them when we was driving off. You know what I'm saying? So I went to another party, and then when we was in the party, you know, when we got to the party, all of the news started coming out about the shots. And the girl I was with was like, "Oh my God, did you see this? Like we was just here." And she got all freaked out. And then I'm just like, what the fuck? And then, you know, it was like 10:15, we came out the restaurant, walked to the same parking lot of the ballroom, and 10:20 the shots were going on. I just felt like, damn, I was mad close to that. You know what I'm saying? I was mad close to it. I felt like I escaped it because at the time I didn't know that he walked in the ballroom. I thought he was just firing in the street. So I'm like, shit, if he was firing in the street and it was that close, I probably would have been in there. And I ain't gonna lie, you know, if somebody's shooting in my vicinity and he's like not aiming at one person, he's just going around shooting people, I'm reacting, bro. So I felt like I escaped. If not, I escaped death. I really felt like I escaped some some problems, like some legal problems. But rest in peace to those people, man. You know what I mean? It was on Lunar New Year, like, you know what I mean? Horrible time for that to happen. It was very hard, very bad way. Like Chinese people, we go by luck and we go by like, you know, like we're very superstitious people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, how to start that, how that year started, how our year started is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? But rest in peace to those people.
Definitely rest in peace. Well, what all are you working on? You know, what do you got coming up? You still doing music?
Yeah, I haven't made music in like a year and a half, almost 2 years, but I recently just started making music. You know what I mean? Started making music again. I've been doing my new really what I've been focusing on is my new live stream show, Mac Talk. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm here, to promote my new channel, Mac Talk. It's where I go live stream. You know, I have interviews, you know, all types of stuff. And it's been going crazy. I'm only like 10 streams in and we going crazy already. So, you know, log on to Mac Talk. It's different type of spice. You know what I'm saying? Like we going crazy on there. We got the great interviews, you know what I mean? Great reactions, you know. Pull up, Mac Talk. You're gonna be surprised how entertaining it is.
Definitely. Well, shit, I'm looking forward to everything, man.
No
You
doubt.
know, if there's
Yeah.
anything like your Mac Eats, I'm sure it'll be dope.
Oh, Mac Eats too. And yo, to whoever fucking sent the bots onto my main channel, first of all, suck my dick. I'm gonna talk to this channel too. Suck my dick. You ain't stopping nothing. You know what I'm saying? All y'all hating, y'all could eat a dick. Your mother could eat a dick with an AIDS tip on it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not stopping shit. Y'all could just slow it down for a little bit. But I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay. Every time y'all try to fuck up my wave and shit like that, y'all just make me fucking like bigger. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might slow some shit down, but you never gonna stop no shit. All right? Eat a dick, respectfully.
That's what it is. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely, man.
No doubt.